We are officially 1 month away from the NFL playoffs. Things are heating up, and with no more teams on bye and 16 games every week, this month is going to be exciting. Last week, I went 8-6, bringing my total record on the season to 131, 76, and 1. In this video, I'll be predicting every week 15 game with score predictions. If you enjoyed this video, then please drop a like and subscribe if you're new. Subscribe takes just a second, and it really helps me out. Thank you, and let's get started. Baltimore Ravens versus Cincinnati Bengals. And we're starting off hot with a Thanksgiving rematch that didn't leave the Ravens a lot to be thankful for. They got destroyed in that game and also lost last week to the Steelers. Now, granted, the refs absolutely screwed them by not calling this a catch, but either way, they still lost and are very likely to miss the playoffs. Lamar Jackson has not been himself since he came back. I think he's still injured, but the Ravens don't really have anyone to turn to. The Bengals had a classic Bengals game last week against the Bills, putting up 34 points with Joe Burrow throwing 4 touchdowns, but still lost because of their defense. Not having a QB spy on 3rd and 15 against Josh Allen is Brandon Staley level defensive play calling. T. Higgins is also out, which doesn't make things any easier, but I am going to take Cincinnati to sweep the Ravens 30-26. Joe Burrow and the offense look absolutely unstoppable, and unless Lamar has a superhero performance like Josh did last week, the Bengals will win this game. Las Vegas Raiders versus Philadelphia Eagles. Forget being a top 5 quarterback, forget being a top 10 quarterback. Hell, I'm not sure Jalen Hurts is even a top half quarterback anymore. I know it sounds like I'm overreacting to one game, but I'm not. Outside of like 3 or 4 games, Jalen Hurts has been genuinely bad this season. He limits this offense that could be so good. Things are just perfect as they were last year, but they shouldn't have to be. A good quarterback can overcome these things. I'm not saying Hurts is a terrible QB, but unless the Eagles have literally every possible thing go right for them like they did in 2024, they aren't winning another Super Bowl with Hurts. At least they're not the Raiders, which is why I have them winning 21-13. Outside of the Week 17 Bills game, the Eagles' schedule is an absolute joke, so they should be able to win this division, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're 1 and done in the playoffs. Arizona Cardinals versus Houston Texans. Well, if we needed any more proof that the Texans have the best defense in the league, we got it. They limited the Chiefs to 3 scoreless quarters and make Patrick Mahomes look like 2005 Alex Smith. The offense doesn't even have to do anything. This defense can legitimately carry the Texans to the Super Bowl, and I don't even want to imagine what they're going to do to the Cardinals, especially with Paris Johnson and MHJ being out. Yeah, this one's pretty easy. I'll take the Texans 23-10. I'm pretty sure they're already digging Jacoby Brissett's grave right now. Los Angeles Chargers versus Kansas City Chiefs. We are getting closer and closer to the Chiefs not making the playoffs. They only have a 12% chance, and they basically have to win out or they're not getting in. They got destroyed by the Texans. Patrick Mahomes literally had the worst game of his career, and his supporting cast did not help at all. The O-line couldn't block, and their receivers kept dropping his balls. And yet, through it all, Chris Collinsworth could not stop glazing the absolute shit out of him. The Chargers got a good win over the Eagles, even with Herbert getting sacked 7 times. Their defense locked up the Eagles' offense, and both Amari Hampton and Kamani Vidal made some nice plays. These two teams played each other in Week 1 in Brazil, with the Chargers getting the win, but at home, I'll cautiously take the Chiefs 24-20. It's win or go home time for the Chiefs, and they're not dead yet, so I guess they'll be alright. Buffalo Bills versus New England Patriots. Josh Allen is a goddamn alien. He hasn't been as good this season as he was last, but in this last game against Cincy, he went nuclear, putting up over 300 total yards and 4 total touchdowns, including the longest touchdown run of his career. With a couple key picks from the defense, the Bills were able to score 21 in the 4th quarter to pull out what was basically a must-win if they wanted any shot at keeping up with the Patriots. Said Patriots were on a bye last weekend. The week before pretty easily took care of the Giants. They lost the 1 seed to the Broncos last week, but they could get it back with a win here. They already beat the Bills once in Buffalo, and I think they complete the sweep with a 28-24 win in Foxborough. Christian Benford may not be playing for Buffalo, and dog on their schedule all you want, but the Pats are on a 10-game win streak for a reason. New York Jets versus Jacksonville Jaguars. Well, if things couldn't get any worse for the Jets, both Tyrod Taylor and Justin Fields are out, meaning undrafted rookie Brady Cook is getting the start. He was absolute dog shit in his limited action against the Dolphins, and now he gets to go against one of the best defenses in the league in the Jaguars, who are coming off a nice win over the Colts. It was easier than it should have been due to Daniel Jones getting injured, but Trevor Lawrence has quietly looked really good these past couple weeks, and maybe he's finally starting to take that next step. Obviously, I'm taking Jacksonville. I'll be nice to the Jets and say say 24-6. But honestly, I'd be surprised if they even score that many. Washington Commanders versus New York Giants. Putting your injured franchise quarterback out against a Brian Flores defense while you're already eliminated from the playoffs is the coaching equivalent of terrorism, and you cannot change my mind. Now Daniels is out again, and if Dan Quinn doesn't shut him down for the rest of the season, then I don't know what to say. No wonder the rest of the team looks disinterested. I think Quinn has lost the locker room. At least the Giants are still fighting hard, even if they're also losing, and Jackson Dart continues to get reps, which is really all that matters. I don't want to spend any more time on this game than I have to, so I'll take the Giants 27-19, because at least they still somewhat care. Cleveland Browns versus Chicago Bears. Holy shit, Shedeur Sanders might be a good quarterback. Who knew that taking a projected first-round guy in the 5th round might actually work out? I didn't like the pick at the time simply because I thought there were going to be higher upside prospects in the 2026 draft, but that's not looking like the case, so this was definitely a good pick. It was the Titans, but Shedeur made a lot of big throws to keep the Browns in that game. However, their defense absolutely crumbled, allowing 31 points. I'm not really sure what that was about, but I think they can clean it up. They'll have a tough test this week against the Bears, who are coming off a loss to the Packers, and in just 1 week, went from the 1 seed down to the 7 seed. The run game was held in check, and Caleb didn't play bad, but did have a back-breaking interception at the end. However, I do think the Bears win this one 20-16. The Bears defense is a whole lot better than the Titans, so I think Shedeur struggles a bit, and the Bears pull out a close victory. Carolina Panthers versus New Orleans Saints. Okay, how in the absolute hell am I supposed to know what to think about the Panthers when 1 week they look like the 07 Patriots and the next the 08 Lions? They have losses to the Cardinals and Saints, but also have wins over the Packers, Cowboys, and most recently the Rams. Their defense has been looking better as of late, and Bryce Young has also been playing well. The Saints somehow beat Tampa. I think that was more to Tampa being bad than the Saints being good, though. I mean, New Orleans lost in basically every stat category, but Tyler Shuck looked good again, which was nice. As mentioned before, the Saints actually beat the Panthers earlier in the year, but this time I'll take Carolina 24-17. With a win here, the Panthers put themselves in first place in the NFC South and could very well win this division. Detroit Lions versus Los Angeles Rams. This game is about to be cinema. All Lions versus Rams games are. Troy is coming off a major win over the Cowboys where their offense exploded, putting up 44 points, including 3 touchdowns from Jahmyr Gibbs. The Lions are still very much alive in both the playoff and division hunt, but so are the Rams, even more so. They're coming off a dominant win over the Cardinals, which is more impressive than it sounds considering how close Arizona has been playing teams. Stafford and Njoku were insane again, but what was really surprising was the emergence of Blake Corum, who had his best career game with 128 yards and 2 touchdowns. Again, this is going to be a really good game, but I'm taking the Rams 34-31. The Lions have gotten the better of the Rams the past couple times they matched up, but this Rams team is different, and I think they get a big win to maintain the 1 seed. Indianapolis Colts versus Seattle Seahawks. And we finally made it to the Phillip Rivers game. As if this NFL season couldn't get any crazier, 44-year-old Phillip Rivers is coming out of retirement after not playing since 2020 and is set to start this week against the Seahawks. This guy is a literal grandfather, and here he is to save the Colts season. If Rivers could somehow guide this team to the Super Bowl or even the playoffs for that matter, then that would be one of the greatest stories in NFL history. This will be a very tough test though, as the Seahawks have one of the best defenses in the league and are coming off a 37-9 blowout of the Falcons. Sam Darnold and JSN continue to be amazing, and while there is nothing I want more than to pick the Colts, I do have to give the edge to Seattle 27-20. I just can't see Rivers doing all that much against this defense, but I'll definitely be rooting for him. Green Bay Packers versus Denver Broncos. Every week, the Broncos are looking more and more like the 2024 Chiefs. A great record, but pretty much all their games are one score, regardless of opponent, and Denver's now 9-2 in one-score games. Everything we know about football tells us this isn't sustainable, but hell, the Chiefs made the Super Bowl last year, so what do I know? Bo Nix had maybe the weirdest QB stat line ever, completing 31 out of 38 passes, but only for 212 yards, but whatever works, I guess. The Packers are coming off a huge win over the Bears to take first place in the NFC North, and Jordan Love now has 2 straight elite performances. The Toyotathon magic is back, and the Packers are a really dangerous team. I'm going to take them to snap the Broncos win streak 23-20. With the way Love and the offense have been cooking, I don't think even the Broncos defense can totally contain them, and the Packers maintain first place. Tennessee Titans versus San Francisco 49ers. The Titans did it! They won a football game. Somehow, they managed to drop 31 points on Cleveland, with Cam Ward throwing 2 touchdowns and Tony Pollard having the best game of his career, with 161 yards and 2 of his own touchdowns. Obviously, the Titans still suck, and this one may haunt them as they no longer have the number 1 pick, but it was still a good win. The 49ers were on bye last weekend. The week before also beat the Browns, so that's something these two teams have in common. Their talent level is nowhere close to being in common, however. I'll take the 49ers 31-19. The Titans got a nice win, but they very much still suck. Minnesota Vikings versus versus Dallas Cowboys. Holy shit, the Vikings actually played competent offense, and JJ McCarthy didn't look like Jamarcus Russell. Obviously, it was against the Commanders, but McCarthy did have the best game of his career, and the Vikings defense shut up the Commanders. Literally. Somehow, Justin Jefferson still can't seem to produce, though. The Cowboys are coming off a tough loss to the Lions. Their offense played well, and Dak put up 300 plus yards for the third week in a row, but their defense reverted back to early season form. Also, George Pickens kind of looked like he had given up halfway through, so I'm not sure what's up with that, but as an NFL receiver, you can't be doing that. I do think the Cowboys bounced back with a 27-21 win. Their defense will surrender a bit, but this offense is as good as ever and can score on anyone, even Brian Flores. Miami Dolphins versus Pittsburgh Steelers. We have reached a point in the season where the Dolphins now have the same record as the Kansas City Chiefs. What the hell is this season? The Dolphins keep beating up on bad teams and the Bills, but likely aren't going anywhere. The Steelers might just win the AFC North, even if they do finish 9-8, but they did have a great win over the Ravens. Aaron Rodgers may have had his best game as a Steeler. The raw stats don't necessarily show that, but he was making big time throw after big time throw. I'm going to take Pittsburgh to win this one 21-17. Besides Buffalo, this is by far the hardest team Miami has faced during the little win streak, and I don't think they overcome the Steelers. But that's it. Those are my Week 15 NFL predictions. Where do you agree? Where do you disagree? Comment below. If you enjoyed this video, then please drop a like and subscribe if you're new, and that's it for me. See ya.